thing coming home. Found 3 different spots. My cat's puked, so that's always a good way to start the anything. It's Sunday at 11 o'clock. I did not get a good night's sleep last night. The child is sick. I'm not, but other people might be getting. Anyway, I had a bad night's sleep because other people had a bad night's sleep, and I was theoretically allowed to sleep in today, but I didn't, so I got bad sleep once again. After all my housework yesterday, I went through and I did a bunch of paperwork and figured out all my finances, blah, 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 with the idea that I was going to hit the ground running today, and I did. I had some coffee and a peanut butter sandwich, and I started drawing. My plan was to just start blasting on the Red Ranger cover thing, and I wasn't really looking forward to it because I've been struggling with that one figure, and I was like, well, I'm going to ink all the other stuff, but I opened up my iPad to an Ultraman I had been working on the plane and struggling with and working on for hours, and decided I can't draw, and I can't draw hands, and I can't draw anything, and I'm like, this isn't that bad. I'm like, maybe if I just tweak it a little, and I started just like, let me see if I could just poke it a little bit, and then the next thing I know, I finished it. So it's done. I'm showing it to you now, I'm sure. And I don't remember, I did a Pridezilla. I did Shin Godzilla with rainbow blast coming out of their mouth. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but I had the idea of like, oh, I should do one of these every year, like a different main Toku hero, like Kamen Rider, Ultraman, whatever. Like those are the big 3, and then go from there. I don't remember if I did it last year, but then this year I was like, oh, I'm going to do it. And I started working on it the day before. This is Pride Month, June 2nd today. So I started working it on the plane. Ideally, I would have had it done yesterday, but I was so disgusted with it and I wasn't drawing yesterday that I didn't. But I finished it today, and so I'm going to post it up and around. When I did that with Pridezilla, or Shinzilla, Gayzilla, I don't remember what I called it, Pridezilla, people wanted to buy it, and so I made it available as a print, and I still have it as available as a print, actually. I did an original run, and then I did a second run, and I charge a little bit more, and I donate a portion to the Trevor Project, which is appropriate for the month and the theme. And so I'm going to post up the Ultraman, and if I get a couple people asking, can I buy it? Well, then, maybe I'll do that, and then maybe next year I do Kamen Rider, and it's a whole thing. But anyway, I finished it. It's topical. I'm going to put it up. It's bad in that I should be working on the horror or my commissions, but it's good in that it's a piece of art that I finished I'm satisfied with. And I guess I'm spreading love, tolerance, awareness, I don't know. Non-hate. Oh, very cool.
Giving hearts and kisses to it.
I just dropped Roxana off at preschool. It was a bit of a struggle. This is a little coffee shop I like to go to. It's like locally owned, and it's a little expensive, but I love that I could come and sit outside when it's hot. There's shade, and there's birds and lizards and stuff usually hanging out, although not right now. And got a cappuccino and avocado toast because I'm very California and very millennial, even though I'm Gen X. Hey, it's Wednesday. It's not Wednesday, it's Tuesday. And I'm outside of Starbucks. There's this little squeaky thing near me. Wednesday, Arrival Coffee. So I'm sort of doing the outline inks first, and I've done most of the side. I struggled revising this character a lot, but as I'm doing it, I thought this leg was a little funky, and I realized that whether it's funky or not, the reason it feels funky is because this is one of the more heavily referenced, homaged poses from the Bogdanovich original. Then I farted around with that hand a lot. Anyway, I'm going to go in and try to get some work done. Well, I did about an hour of drawing, and then I saw my mom. She came out, and I hung out with her for about an hour, which was nice, but not productive. It's getting close to picking up the kids, so I went to Target to drop off some bag recycling. And I found this, which is a set of the 4 original Sketch Ninja Turtles that I was sort of like wanted, but I kind of want a black and white edition, but I don't know if that'll come out, and I don't know how hard these will be to get, and I'm like, I'm not going to try to get them. But if I see them, especially if it's a whole set, I'll get them. I walked in, they had 1 peg with the full set of turtles, and that's it. And I was like, all right, scoop. And this is where I'm very FOMO because, here they are, there's Raph. These are all based on the original Ninja Turtles sketch from the comics of the full team. Not the very first sketch they did, which is different, and those figures are only available, they're super expensive. These were $15 each, which a set of 4, adds up, but I also have the Target Red card, so 5% off. But anyway, I'm gonna leave these in the box for now. I want to have an open set, but I suspect they're going to release a recolored or decolored version with all black and white or black and white with red masks, which would be my preference. However, if they don't, or if those are impossible to get, this is FOMO insurance. I want to make sure this isn't something they're like, oh, I didn't get it and now it's impossible and it's expensive. So at the very least, I have this set, which I could paint or not paint, but I have a version. But I'll keep them in the box at least till after San Diego Comic-Con, which is in a month, 2 months, because I feel like they're going to release them there. Whatever. I'm doing the thing I've seen other people talk about doing of working while sitting in a car waiting. I've never been in this position, but I had a half hour, didn't make sense to go home, and I did some more work. I'm doing mostly inking, but I do find myself editing, and I did spend about a half hour just editing this. I realized that the belt was in the wrong position, and it's still a little bit awkward, but I cleaned it up so it's still in the same basic pose, but it suits my aesthetic more / is more correct. And then, I did a few other things, but that's mostly what I was working on. The decor in this bathroom goes way harder than it needs to, and I love it! It's a few minutes before 6. I'm in my car on my way to Robo Toy Fest in Burbank, California. Who am I? Well, I'm Gazbot, and it's so early. I've been up for less than a half hour. I got dressed, threw my last few things in the car. I make myself a list so I don't forget the morning things, certain like a microphone that was charging, things like that, stuff that I can't pack the night before. Bottle of water. Well, I could pack a bottle of water, but I have like a refillable bottle that was in the fridge, chilling. And now I'm stopping at Dunkin' Donuts. This is breakfast. I'm gonna get a cappuccino and a wrap and a donut, which is not super healthy, but that'll sustain me for the roughly hour and a half ride to where I'm going. It's not quite dark, but it's dark enough that everybody has their headlights on. It's a little overcast too, which I hope it kind of stays this way for load-in, because I hate when I get all sweaty by the time I get to my table. I did bring an extra t-shirt for just that reason. I'm very tired. I should be drinking my coffee, but I wanted to say some things before I forgot or get too engrossed in the trip. Yeah, it's about an hour and a half from where I live. And early birds, which I gotta say, I'm not a fan of the early birds. I understand kind of why promoters do it, because they get a little extra money from the people that want to pay a few extra bucks to get in there a few extra minutes. But that just means I gotta be ready earlier. And yeah, while early birds are there, you can still be setting up, but it's awkward if you're trying to do things in the aisle or in the table while they're there, and you could be missing sales. So really, you want to be set up by the time they get there, which is 9, which means I got up at 5:30. Got on the road by 6. I'll be there by 7:30. That gives me an hour and a half to set up before they come, which, should be enough time, except I don't know the parking situation. I've gotten an email, but it's I'm not good with directions, and I'm not good with visualizing directions. So they're like, oh, at the building on the left, there's a lot. Park there and bring your things in. Unless you only have some things, you can come in the front. But also there's cones in the morning for vendors and guests. And then later they're like, you need to get a ticket and then bring the ticket to this desk and get it. So it's like, okay, I think I could park on the side and carry my stuff in the front or the side, but then I have to move my car to a parking deck where I get it validated, I guess. And I still have to pay, but less as a vendor. That's what I'm getting. But that to me translates into, regardless of how long it takes me to set up or bring my stuff inside, 15 minutes to repark my car and get it validated, I guess. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have an hour to set up. And if you've seen my videos before, usually the goal then is to get everything in the building, everything behind my table, get my art display set up behind me, and then be fiddling with things on the table and or on the floor while they're coming. The other thing is, this is a toy show. It's not a toy show, it's a Robo Toy Fest. So it has robos and toys. But I'm going to be setting up my art, but also toys to sell for my own personal collection. There used to be a show, well, there still is a show. It's going on this weekend in San Jose that I would go to, every couple of months and prune toys that I've acquired over the centuries. I don't really have one of those near me anymore. So as much as I've not been feeling good about my sales at art shows, and I've been rethinking my whole strategy of even doing shows, conventions, whatever, I have 2 shows on the books. I have this one primarily because even though it's far, it's a one-day show, it's not too far, it's drivable far. It's like if I didn't have a kid, an easy show. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get lunch with a buddy down in the area after, so that is nice too. but primarily because of the toy show. I'm bringing my art, but it's primarily because of the toys that I'm doing it. And then I'm doing Power Morphagon in a few months, which is Power Rangers, which is a good chunk of the art I have. And my buddy is coming down from the Bay Area, and we're going to table together and make a weekend of it. So again, it's a show that I should do well at, and there's a social aspect to it. Other than that, I don't plan on doing any shows this year. If the comic store near my house is a guest, they invite me over, sure. If there's some kind of super local thing, maybe. There's a slim chance I might try to go to the Bay Area for a Godzilla event that some people I know throw, but that's not on the books. But really, not so much this show, but Power Morphagon is going to determine a lot if I keep doing shows. Doesn't mean I'm saying I'll never do shows, but before COVID, it was like a part of my business model, a part of my career that brought in money and good energy and new followers and things, and like that just hasn't been true for the last year or two since I've been back doing it. So this is a test of the urgency convention system. Whatever time it is, 7:10. I'm close. I think I'm about 20 minutes away from the convention center. Had to stop and get gas. Today, okay, hi. A couple things I've been thinking about shows, aside from just, hey, maybe I should stop doing them, is I need to minimize. I need to shrink my footprint, not so much of like a little bit of what I bring to show, but also I just have like cases and pounds of stuff that I bring that never sells. So I need to stop bringing the things of like, oh, I've only got 3 of this print left, but maybe this will be the show, I'll sell one, and like just give them away, sell them for nothing, throw them away, whatever. And prints that do sell okay, that I'm not, that I maybe sell 1 or 2 a show or 1 or 2 every other show, don't need to be bringing 10 of those. I've talked about this a lot, but I have this constant fear of like, there's going to be a run on this image and I'm going to run out. And I think part of it is just optimism and anxiety and whatever else, like positive or negative emotions. But part of it is like a couple years ago, I did a show in San Francisco, one of my best shows ever still. And I did the same show the next year. I convinced my friend to come and we both bombed. So like, there's no way to predict that stuff. But I had a Power Rangers print that was just selling like crazy. And I had some Turtles prints, specifically Bebop and Rocksteady, which I still theoretically have in print, although I've taken them off any online shops because I kept getting copyright stricken for Turtles ever since Nickelodeon bought it. Maybe, well, anyway. But I had, 10 each of whatever, and I sold them, and I sold out. And I had to run and get prints made the next day, and I got some prints. And I think that always sticks in my head. I've also had a couple incidents at Power Rangers conventions where I had 2 or 3 of a certain Ranger and they sold out. And then that Ranger actor was like, hey, do you have any of me? And I'm like, I don't. But these are outliers. This is like 2 or 3 times over like 10 or 15 years that I can't let rule me. And I'm trying to learn these lessons now that I might quit doing cons. 7:38, I am here, I'm checked in. I am parked in the side lot. I realized this is the same place I came for Japanese World Heroes, which is not the Robo Toy Fest used to be, but I did know where to park. It's weird because these were all blocked off. Well, that one's open now, but it was blocked off. So I came in around here and I parked there, and I am going to have to move, and I did have to get a ticket, but it looks like you can validate right up front here. I think 3 chips on the old handcart should do it. Not including the walk-ins I just did with the backpack and some other pieces of backdrop and stuff. The good thing about doing toys and art is usually this is like 1 or 2 trips of nothing but heavy stuff. Now I could mix it up a little so it's not as bad. Slightly annoying thing is the main entrance is here, but they don't have a little dip for all the hand trucks, so you gotta go up or down the sidewalk. Or park there, whatever. There should be a dip in the sidewalk. It's 8 o'clock, I have everything in the show hall. I got my parking validated, which was actually way easier than I thought it was going to be. It was right there. Now I'm going to put away my handcart and repark my car, go inside, use the bathroom, and have that time to set up. 9:30, apparently early bird was 9:30, which is great because it's 9:30 and I'm barely kind of set up. At 9 I was not. Now, in my defense, I had an emotional phone call from one of my friends that I needed to be there for, so I wasted some time being a friend out here. And I had a sale and a potential sale where I'm like gathering prices and stuff, so I was doing business before we even started. But luckily it's 9:30 and not 9, and now people are starting to roll in. o'clock, we just had a huge rush where I sold a bunch of stuff, and I had that thing where people looked at something and then they didn't buy it, they came back later. Where's that thing? Well, it sold. And which is good, because that early deal, somebody had me put all the stuff aside, gave me their number, didn't respond to my messages, never came back again. So I started putting that stuff out, and some of it sold. So I'm glad I didn't wait. I've only made one art sale, which is fine because I'm not primarily here for art. But what I usually, the perfect world is art covers my table, because there's less overhead invested in art as opposed to buying a toy and then reselling it. But that being said, I've definitely made table, and I've definitely made profit at this point. I hope to keep doing profit. I hope to sell big things too, because like make room in my house and my storage areas and everything else. But generally speaking, it feels very successful so far. So for whatever reason, I don't like having like a list of prices, and I was trying to figure out the best way to price toys, and I started putting Post-its on them, which isn't great because they fall off, so it's not good for like a long-term solution, but for like one show it works pretty well. But what works even better is when I sell it, I pull it off, and if I don't have time to mark it down, I put it here. It's been a game changer. No longer am I like, oh, wait, let me write that down, or I forgot whatever. And then for art stuff, I'm just making one and writing that on there too. So it's been very helpful. 1:45, and the landscape of what I had out here has completely changed. The person who was here earlier that had that big pile did end up coming back and rebuilding it into a new pile. So I sold a few things at the higher price to individuals, and then they gave me kind of the bulk discount deal on a bunch they bought. So yeah, pretty good. As art, I've made 3 art sales. One for a headshot, one for a pin, and one for 3 headshots. So didn't quite cover table, not doing amazing on the art front, but again, I wasn't really expecting that, so that's fine. That's a cool display. Oh, 3-0, no wonder. About, I forget if it's 2:30 or 3, but we're in the end game now. Only got a couple hours left. Usually at this point, I'm like, I gotta squeeze out some more sales. But today, because I've done pretty well, I'm like, my legs are tired and I'm hungry. I wouldn't mind if it ended right now. That being said, if there's another rush, I'd be happy to sell more things. After 3, it's been a great day of selling. I went and chatted with Selwyn Ward, the actor, a little bit, and my buddy Tom Frank. His last name is Frank, but there's like an extra letter in there, and got a comic from him, and not so much socializing, but just selling. Usually things are dead and I have the chance to walk around and shop. Haven't had that chance, and I'm not complaining. I sold a lot of what I found is the art is not doing well. What I found, the 2 things that sell the best are big items, like a big box for $100 that's like people don't want to buy online, and loose Transformers, where it's like, oh, this is less than retail, I want this. Those are the 2 things that have been selling the best, is Transformers, Robotech, Voltron, those 3 things, but the big and the loose, which is great, because those are the 2 things that I don't love selling on eBay. It's a few minutes to 5. It seems like most of the visitors are gone. There's a couple people poking around. Most people are starting to pack up. I had a lot of last minute sales, so I did take down my art because nobody cares about my art. But I have been getting last minute sales on my toys, so I'm leaving those out. So I'm sort of doing the slow pack. They're all empty boxes that I just need to break down and get rid of. These are the only 2 I'm actually bringing home, which is fantastic. Cute little box 2 was hiding behind the curtain. Couldn't get away from me, see? 5:26, I'm bringing out my first real cargo load. The other one was just to sort of put my backpack in the car and get the hand truck. I might be able to do it in 2 trips. It's beautiful out. All right, 2 to 6. I got out of there in less than an hour, and I wasn't hustling, and I stayed pretty much till the end. I got my parking validated from a machine, and now we're all waiting to pay this machine. I accidentally went the wrong way, and I came back. What I don't like though is it doesn't seem to be moving at all. So what is going on with the person up there? I don't friggin' know. Well, that line wasn't moving, and people started getting out of it and came over to, there's another exit on the other side. So now I did the same thing, and now I'm closer to the gate, which is also, line is not moving. Both times people are still coming in. So it's not like, oh, they're turned off. It's like, well, what, you can enter, but you can never leave? What is this, the Hotel California? It is, we are at a hotel in California. Am I in the song? Oh, I was always afraid this would happen. To close out the video, it's Monday, I don't know, 8:30, 9 o'clock, something like that. And I'm gonna unload the car today. Yeah, once again, there's so much less than there was. Definitely didn't need to bring as much art as I did, but you never know. It was a good show. I think if I did art only, it wouldn't be as good. Well, here's the thing. It was $180, well, $90 with like fees and stuff for the exhibitor table. Had I got an artist table, it would have been cheaper, but I feel like my location wouldn't have been as good. I did really, really good because of selling toys. I sold barely any art. But if I only had art, it would have been set up differently. I would have been pushing art. I would have been talking about art and not being distracted by toy sales. So it's a really good show to go to have fun. It's a really good show to go to sell toys. Inconclusive if it would be good to do only art, but I don't know I'll ever do that show doing only art, so I'm not the person to ask about that. That being said, I will be doing Power Morphicon in a few months, doing only art, so there's that. And those are the only shows I have set up for this year. There's a slim chance I might do a Bay Area Godzilla event, but I don't know if I can pull that off. So that's where we're at, but good show. I'm happy to be unloading much less stuff.